Oh,
Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Gizmos look on. Ground is highlighted. Try scrolling the scroll wheel. Okay. It should definitely be visible at this point. That's interesting. It might be. Try hitting W.
W.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yep.
Right. So there are different modes for what you can change in the scene view. Now they do have visual icons for it as well. I think. Just trying to remember where they are. So basically, was it Q? I think if you hit Q, the axes will disappear.
Yeah.
And I forget what that's for. Don't think it's for anything. I forget. Oh, it's interesting. So you've got W, which is for changing the location. Then you have E. If you hit E, then you'll get an orb.
Oh, yeah.
And that means you can actually change the rotation. So if I grab and click on the blue axis, I can rotate the
Of the asset.
Yeah.
That's selected. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can grab it and rotate it in the so the blue one is the Z axis. So I'm actually rotating it around the Z axis. And you'll see that if you look in the transform component in the inspector, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll see rotation is changing, and I can change, the x-axis and the y and so forth. And of course, if I hate what I've done, I can go back into the inspector and type in 0, 0, 0 across XYZ rotation and get it back to unrotated.
I can type 0, 0, yeah.
And
That Y should be. That's right, is it?
oh, that's the position. So no, so that's fine. But it's the next field down is on the inspector. You'll see rotation. So that's all 0 for yeah. Cool. And then, so we've got W and E. So W is location, E is for rotation, and R. You get these get funny boxes on the end instead of arrows. You see the axes with these boxes, and that's for changing scale. So, for instance, if I grab the red box and sort of pull it out, you'll see that the object will stretch.
Yeah.
And that's just changing the scale. So basically, in the scene view, using the W, E, or R key, you can choose different properties from the transform to change, whether it's position, rotation, or scale. And I can hit Control Z and it'll go back to what it was before.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, there we are. All right. How about I share screen? Let me see if I can just take over.
Sorry, I just thought
that's all good, all good. So, let me go back. Show that. How are you feeling? You
Good.
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Let me go back to main screen. All right. So why don't we make a material for the ground so we can make it green? So if I click on the materials folder, and what will I do? How am I going to create a material?
Right click, create.
Yes.
Material.
Genius. Exactly. And I'll call this ground mat.
Yep.
Now there's a few different shaders we could choose. The default shader here for the URP will be fine. But sometimes you have shaders for mobile if you need something that's going to be less compute intensive. There are unlit things which actually won't have any shading on them, so they'll just be like a constant color. You can there's particles, which again is more for lighter compute. Standard. So actually, if I scroll down a bit, we'll see standard, which is what we have by default, I think. actually, it hasn't said. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, standard is for... Actually, I think that's for the built-in renderer.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, that's right. So that's for the built-in renderer. That's right, that's for the built-in renderer. So this, the one we have by default is the universal render pipeline / lit. Lit meaning it receives light and it will cast a shadow.
Yep.
Okay, so what we can do here is we can change it from metallic. By default it's metallic. We can make it specular. So if we want a material like, okay, here I have a coffee cup, and if I want to make the coffee cup reflective, all right, like porcelain, then I would choose specular. And in this case, if I wanted a carpet, specular would make sense too, because it's not metallic. We can actually make something transparent. Now, that's not going to make sense for this one, but you can do that as well. So you can actually make it so like semi-transparent. Okay. Now, down here we've got the base map. So I could actually get an image, import the image, and then I could drag that into base map, and that would define how the ground looks.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you had a photo of grass or something, you just put it there and it would fill in the space.
Yeah, it would. So then it would look like an image of grass, because it would be flat. But yes, it would look like an image of grass.
Oh, right.
There are things here like see normal map under. So we've got surface inputs. Yes, under surface inputs we've got normal map here. So you can combine two different images. One image, say if I had an image of sand. You can process that image, or if you go to certain, there are places online like Poliigon. I think it's I can't remember. Poliigon Library of Textures, right? So here, this is a website created by an Australian guy. Actually, his name's Andrew. I can't think of his surname. But he has a YouTube channel called Blender Guru. So he has these assets, so you can use them, well, obviously for video games, but you can use them if you want to make 3D art. And so there's like concrete and so forth. And here he should have, you'd be able to download an asset, so we could make our ground look like brick or concrete. So if I click on concrete, and if you want to make it look really like concrete, you'd want this. This image is what they call albedo. It's the image how it looks, and there'll be another. If I click on this, they should have somewhere. I forget how. You can actually get it. So you'll have the texture for how it looks, and there'll be another one for how the surface has different angles on it when it reflects light. And that's what the normal map is. So over the surface, the normals of the surface, being the angles coming off the surface, is what the normal map is. And so if you downloaded a texture, if I go back to Unity, that's what it means by normal map. So it's another kind of image. And there are tools you can download or get or buy for Windows, which will help you take a photo and make a normal map from it, which is very cool. So that's how we could get some, like that, a concrete, the image and the normal map, and then it would actually look like concrete. It would look quite realistic.
Okay.
But what we can do here in the base map here is we can change the color. So we can choose green. And so by picking a green, and I can click away, that's now, we can see that here it looks green. Now, the plane hasn't changed yet because we haven't associated the plane with this material, which we'll do in a sec.
My colour didn't take, wait.
Your colour didn't take?
I picked it.
Yeah.
Right.
So change it on the wheel to pick a different colour. So if I go for a blue for a second, and then you've got to drag inside the colour gradient in the box.
Oh, sorry. Didn't do that, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I sort of did it quickly, so it's easy to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then when you do that, and then I can hit enter and the dialog will go away, or you can click away from it. Yeah. So now the material has a colour. The other thing we can change here is third one down, we can see smoothness under surface inputs. We've got smoothness.
Yep.
But let's put the material on the plane, and then it'll be easier to see how it changes. So what I can do is I can actually grab from assets over here. We've got ground mat. I can click, and I can just drag it out onto the plane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so now you can see what it looks like. And now if we go back to in the inspector for the material, I can change smoothness, and we can sort of immediately see how it sort of changes its appearance.
Oh yeah.
Now when we change it toward the left, it's actually getting rougher. So it's not very smooth, which is why it's closer to 0, on the right-hand side in the field. And if I drag it up to the right, it's actually becoming quite smooth. And it's probably a bit hard to see, but it's sort of for me, it's a bit lighter in the distance. And if I move the camera around and pan a bit, actually, where's the directional light? Based on the directional light, and where the directional light is pointing, I'll see the reflection will appear differently because of the light and the intensity of the light, which is why it's a bit light in the distance.
Where is my sun?
If you click on directional light in the hierarchy, it'll
oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be highlighted.
Yep, it's really low.
Yeah, the intensity might be quite down and so forth. So you have strength, you have near plane, so you can change a few properties here. Yeah, but I tell you what, we won't play with that too much because you can make it over bright and sort of really hard to deal with. So let's click on ground again. So that's probably enough for the ground right now.